I was listening to the a couple of the the post game shows today that everybody has, some podcasts and stuff, and there was a lot of people saying, "Man, Jalen Hurts looked like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL this week," and he really did. Honestly, that's not even an
And
exaggeration.
he I mean, do a side by side of Carson and Jalen, and you have one guy freaking out, pissing his pants, and Jalen just sitting there,
Yeah.
just having all day, just feeling good about it, knowing who to go to. Boys, welcome back to the Philly Escape podcast. We got slides this week. We put them together.
Woo.
Episode 15. It's a game one breakdown of the Eagles. So real quick. I just
We're
want
all
to remind
smiles
everybody.
right now. Everybody's all
I
smiles.
just want to remind everybody.
Cloud nine.
This is the show for the person that kicks back, turns on the radio, and all they hear, right? All they hear is 2 balls, 1 strike. Here comes the pitch. 2 strikes. And you just get fucking infuriated because it's like, why the hell does this radio station need to play anything Phillies or anything related to baseball? Because it's football season, boys, and the Birds are undefeated. Let's go.
Number
And we're
one.
breaking them down.
Number one in the NFC.
Top of the division.
Top of the
Staying
division.
there.
So
They
we're
said it
talking
couldn't be
about
done.
we're talking about one thing and one thing only, and that's the game one breakdown for the Birds today. So let's make it clear. We got nothing else to talk about because there's nothing to talk about other than the Birds. But as far as what we'll get into, it'll be a full breakdown as far as stats, initial takeaways, team grades for offense, defense, and special teams. We'll also give a grade for the coaching staff because it's a brand new coaching staff. It's a new season. And Sirianni, we're still drinking the Kool-Aid from training camp because he looks to be the coach that we want here in Philly. And then we'll revisit our season predictions a little bit. So after going through that a little bit in the preseason before we saw anything real, let's kind of go back to those numbers. Let's go back to our record predictions and let's just take a look at where we're at. Did this game one move the needle for us at all? So initial takeaways, right? Watching this game, Gainwell's clearly the number 2 guy.
Oh, yeah.
There's no injuries to any big names on our team.
Unbelievable.
Which is like probably the mystery of the year.
We transferred
Devontae-
our bird curse to the Ravens, I think.
Yeah, no, I think
Yeah, right.
yeah, I mean with no running backs left to live down in Baltimore. Devontae Smith, for me, I think he's the guy we thought he would be even after game one. I think we can all agree on that one. And then just the 3 C's for Jalen Hurts: cool, calm, and collected. So initial takeaways. What do you guys got for the Birds after watching a full 32-6 victory yesterday?
Dude,
Go ahead, Jackson.
you go. I was just gonna say they absolutely
Yeah, I was gonna
blew the
say
Falcons.
32-6 destruction of the Falcons. It just dismantled them. But I think one thing I was saying earlier before we got started, they just look so prepared on every single aspect of the game. Like they just look like they were ready to go out there and play
Right.
friggin' NFL football. And I can't say how happy I am for Nick Sirianni and just how good he looked in this debut.
Are you saying physically how good he looked? I know you were looking at his arms
I
yesterday.
mean,
checking him out.
the guy's a good-looking guy too. I mean, you can't.
He's a pretty good looking guy.
The biceps were out.
Biceps were out to
Got
play.
some studs.
They were
got
out
some
to play.
studs on this team, dude.
He had some guns out.
Just a great week one.
What'd you like, Jackson? What'd you like from this team? Just watching yesterday, having me scream at the television next to you, just 2 seats away.
I felt like the offense went out. Offensive line was dominant, exactly like we wanted to see. Miles Sanders was getting runs. I felt like he didn't get like a crazy amount of runs, but I thought we were leaning on the run game more than we did with Doug Peterson, which was good. Like he wasn't getting like 9 runs or something.
I liked when we had the lead, we ran the ball a lot.
Yeah. All the rookies, all the players that like were, down a little bit, I think they played better than we were, like as good as we were hoping. Like even JJ Arthur-Whiteside, I saw he was like the number 1 graded run blocker of any position throughout the NFL this week. So like he's not making catches, but he's making a positive impact somewhere. I
Thank
think
God,
that's
finally.
Right.
I think that's a big thing with this coaching staff is like even if you're not going to help out in like a flashy way, everybody's helping out in some way. We're playing to our players' strengths, and I think it's shown.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and this isn't just Jackson just living up to, lifting up J Jaw at all. He actually did make some great blocks on screens. And, it wasn't just screen plays on 2nd and 1. We were actually running the ball to Miles Sanders and Gamewell and, giving the guys the ball unlike Doug Peterson would. I hate to make that comparison already, but we're kind of there.
Kind of have
Flay,
to.
you kind of, I mean, he's the last thing to compare against. But Flay, what'd you like about the Eagles just watching them yesterday?
I would think you guys just touched on it, dude. It's blocking, and I think that kind of just speaks to that team mentality. But you saw multiple times yesterday where the runner pointed out to the lead man, block here, block there, and the guy turned quickly to pick up the block. They gained an extra 10 yards. It's just like an overall, like, again, like that, like fighting dog mentality that we had. Shades of 2017, with the play call flow, the very mixed-up way. Yeah, I'm not going to overplay it too much, but it was
No, I
just
like
very
it.
nice to see them get
Overplay
out
it.
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's very nice to see them get out there and not like only like win, but like win like that. Like I thought I was a little worried. That first drive, Atlanta kind of comes down, walks down the field, but then we hold strong. Within 5 yards there, and our defense really did a good job of bending but not breaking.
And
Yeah,
talk
I
about
was mentioning
the defense. The defense, like I think you were saying, like we looked like we were prepared. I thought the defense was prepared, but they came out. They let up 2 field goals. They let them get down in the red zone, but they didn't break. We benefited, but we didn't break. But then for the last 44 minutes of the game, I saw the Falcons had one play in our side of in our zone, and it was like a intentional grounding. So like they didn't even touch our like. They went in our territory for the last 3 quarters of the game. Our defense was unreal.
No, they couldn't even get anything going towards the end of
Yeah,
that
it
game.
was crazy.
Yeah,
The pressure was consistent, and I don't think we really got a sack until the fourth quarter, if I'm correct. But
Yeah, I
or
think you're
maybe the
right.
late third quarter. But
Yeah.
we just were consistently bringing 4 or 5 guys, and it was just a really nice thing to see.
And who was it? Hargrave got like 3 sacks or something.
Well, 3 sacks on for the total for the
Two,
entire game. You
two
had
for Hargrave
one
and
one for Hassan Ridgeway
Ridgeway.
and 2 for Hargrave. So yeah, I don't know if this was a defense. I feel like the defense came in prepared and then they just had to adjust a little bit and get used to the flow of the game. But I think that's all it really was. I don't think it was, we were caught, not prepared for what the Falcons were throwing at us. I think just looking at that first drive, right? It was pretty scary because the Falcons are always a high-powered offense, literally no matter what, but they always end up going 4-12 for some reason. So it's just one of those teams that scare you because it's Matt Ryan and then a guy like Calvin Ridley. But at least something that I noticed from the defense as far as a in-game adjustment right after that first drive where it was all Ridley, it was double coverage on him. I mean, between Slay and another guy, a safety over the top covering Ridley, he was shut down the entire game. So, I mean, after that first drive, you really didn't hear from him at all. And if you're doing that to Ridley and forcing Ryan to go to other guys like, a rookie Pitts, I mean, it's still Kyle Pitts, but if you're going to him and, kind of pulling away from Ridley, that's a good job by the defense.
And that's one of the
Much
things
more
with Jonathan
manageable.
Gannon. I heard that Jonathan Gannon sort of tailors each week to that specific opponent. So I think maybe he was sort of seeing how like the Falcons were going to play, and then he was going to adjust to like what they did. And it was nice to see that he did make a nice adjustment, and Ridley was pretty much covered the entire game.
Yeah, well, I know like you said that, and like obviously like that is what he's supposed like that. What he does is like tailor his scheme towards the team. That's what you're supposed to do, and that's something
Yeah, right.
that's what someone that Jim Schwartz didn't do ever. He
But-
just played the
right,
same
right.
defense
Yeah.
every single game, and it didn't work. And
And like once one team figures out like how to stop that defensive scheme, you're doomed.
they stayed in the same formation the whole game, or very little changes, and we just needed an upgrade, man. We just needed a guy that was willing to change.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like for coaches, it's like literally just keep it simple, and that's actually one of the things Sirianni stressed from the beginning. Like, let's keep it simple for our players. They know what they're doing, they know what they're reading, and they switch to the right play. But like that was the thing with Schwartz. It was like, all right, we'll just let him catch a 10-yard pass and then just hold him up in the end zone, like every single time. Like I mean,
Yeah,
it's just one of those things. Just keep it simple.
We weren't good
your
enough to hold
players.
them up, though. That was the thing.
Yeah.
And he
Right,
was like,
You
he's
actually
like,
have a secondary now.
it felt like before though, like it was like we're not good enough to like cover the guys so that our defense is going to get there, but our defense scheme is going to be that we're going to hold them until the defensive line gets there. And it's like that doesn't make any sense. We can't do it. You got to do something else.
Yeah.
We need pressure,
Yeah.
and we didn't get any pressure last year or the year before, really.
And
So-
but like Flay, you're right. Like our defensive backs, like that was a huge improvement this game compared to like seasons
Yeah.
past.
Oh, you could
Yeah.
see like guys are making plays for swatting
Yeah.
balls. Like
We were multiple times we were 1 or 2 steps off from having a pick and like
Yeah.
running with it too.
Yeah.
So
I mean, let's look at the stat line across the board, right? So you're comparing Jalen to Matt Ryan, and it's like, even when Matt Ryan's coming back from 30-point games, he's throwing at least 300 yards, right? But I mean, 164 yards on the day. You have Jalen's QBR rating. I know it's different here, but it's like 127 in like
I
as
was
a
gonna say
normal rating.
this is out of 100.
Yeah, this is out of 100. So
Okay,
let's just
that's
be
really
clear
good.
there. Three touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 1 sack on the day. I think he might have had a fumble. I don't remember seeing that, but
Who, Jalen?
yeah, I read that on the stat line, but I don't remember that.
Like he had a fumble.
So he's not. I don't think he did either. He's not just a good fantasy quarterback here.
Yeah.
He's a good regular quarterback,
Dude, he had
making his reads and having effective runs.
And that's
someone.
325 yards.
Yeah.
yeah, he didn't seem to force anything, which was really nice to see.
Right.
He was very comfortable sitting in the pocket, and then when the pressure came, he read the blitz so well.
Dude,
Especially
really,
like in that last.
he went through his.
Sorry to.
No, you're good. I was just gonna
Yeah,
say he was
dude.
going through his progressions really well, like checking the ball down to the
lot of
running
check
back,
downs.
and it was working too. Like a lot of times last year when we had to check the ball down, it was like not enough blocking that it would just end up in a loss of yards or something. But this week we were like getting 10, 15 yards off it.
And honestly, in last season, Carson Wentz, I felt like a lot of times he'd have an easy pass for like a dump off, and he'd
Yeah.
somehow miss the
Yeah,
pass.
that
and
happened a lot.
Jalen might have missed one throw, but like he
And
made the majority of what he should have made.
And I think, because I think, I made that comparison in my head to Carson last year because he missed all those throws. And I think the difference is Jalen was so decisive. Like he looked at that check down and he threw it right away. He wasn't like looking over there and then reading his progression downfield as well and just trying to find the open man. He went right to him. Something didn't work. He went to the next thing. It wasn't this Carson play, delaying the time, kind of looking downfield, looking to the right, and then ending up getting sacked or fumbling the ball. So he's just very decisive in how who he went to
And I think
in a very quick manner.
Well,
I think a big thing with that is that I think Carson Wentz, like he'd look at the check down and he'd be like, I don't know if I should go that. I might be able
Right.
to like hit like a deep ball downfield.
Yeah.
And I thought Jalen did make big plays and he did run the ball a lot, but he wasn't playing hero ball. He wasn't like I have to do this all on my own, which I
Right.
think can be detrimental.
No,
he only had 7 carries.
I think you saw that with the touchdown to Goddard. Like he
Yeah.
definitely could have ran that in, but he saw that little window and he wanted to thread it, and he threaded it really nicely. We kind of got away with that one. I don't know. There was a chance that
It was
touched
close.
the ground, but
It was close for sure.
very lucky. The camera angles all kind of worked in our favor for that one. Feel
Not
like,
the only
but, we'll take
not
it.
the only tight end catch we got away with there, but
Yeah, Zach Ertz.
But
Oh,
just
speaking
back
of
to
Zach
what you
Ertz,
were-
speaking of Zach Ertz, looking
He's
amazing.
he's my he's my kind of like the
unsung hero of the game.
unsung
That's
hero.
pretty
Only
good.
2 catches on the stat line, but he played a really good game at blocking. Had a big role
Yep.
in that Devontae Smith touchdown. And that's what you can ask for a veteran.
Yeah, and a block that's a pick play that's not always easy to execute, where you saw 2 Falcons guys on the other end getting penalties out of
No,
it.
yeah, does a
Zach
really
Ertz
good job
executes,
dragging
turns
his
into a
guy
touchdown.
and blocking the other guy. Yeah.
Right.
I
What
was
were you gonna say,
listening.
Jack?
And just to your point, Caputi, about the decisiveness of Jalen Hurts, what I was going to say is you saw 3 times in that 2-minute drill we had at the end of the first half where he read the blitz and made the quick decision to get out of the pocket. But other than that,
Yeah.
like he was not forcing runs. It was only when it was like a necessary or designed play. He was very calm in the pocket and like read his routes and found his guys.
I felt like he was almost Russell Wilson-esque with that.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
I was listening to the a couple of the the post game shows today that everybody has, some podcasts and stuff, and there was a lot of people saying, man, Jalen Hurts looked like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL this week. And he really did. Honestly, that's not even an
And
exaggeration.
I mean, do a side by side of Carson and Jalen, and you have one guy freaking out, pissing his pants, and Jalen just sitting there,
Yeah.
just having all day, just feeling good about it, knowing who to go to. I mean,
I think
yeah.
I
Go
was
ahead,
just
Jack.
gonna say, like, even with like running the ball, like what you're saying with Carson Wentz looked like a startled moose, like running around the field. Like he was terrified, he didn't know what was going on. And then Jalen Hurts looked like he's cool, calm, collected. He looks like he's
Yeah.
like Sonic the
Jackson, you
Hedgehog or
might have just
something.
made the cold open again.
No.
So here's the thing. Like what I
It's
took from
also
Jalen,
definitely
right?
our phrase of the week, cool, calm, collected.
Yeah, I know. How many times are we going to use that one? But with the thing with Jalen is he did good before the play, during the play as he's executing, and he always finished. So it's like when he was in the RPO, he knew what to go to, whether it was kicking it out to Sanders, handing it off to Sanders, or going for the pass. When he was getting blitz, like Flay was saying, he knew when he needed to avoid that tackle and turn it into a run versus just going for a check down pass. I went back in the highlights, right, and I looked to see how the Falcons were blitzing the Eagles yesterday. And honestly, they didn't change the scheme at all. I don't know what Dean Pease was doing, but they would basically do this thing where they would have a 3 to 4 man rush. They would have one guy, a linebacker showing a blitz, and then as soon as the play started, that linebacker would drop back into coverage. So it would always set up the Eagles for a good play because you have Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins, Jalen Rieger, all these fast guys getting past that linebacker as soon as the play starts. So those guys are getting open, and then what they would do on some other plays is they would bring like a corner or safety to blitz. He would be about 10 yards back, and he would blitz late, so he's already 10 yards late to the play. Jalen would read it, pick up that blitz coming in, sees him coming in, just dodges them a quick juke right, left, and he just takes it upfield for easy 10, 15 yards. So I feel like a lot of this was the Falcons' just defensive play was terrible, but
Yeah,
also
that's what we expected too.
amazing reads by Jalen Hurts
I mean,
on those blitzes across the board.
if you're gonna
I
go
think
if you're gonna go against a defense that's as bad as the Falcons defense, you want to see a blowout like that. Like you want to see like a 32-point
Yeah.
game. So, and that's what we did. So like I mean, you can't really like yeah, everybody's saying we're getting overhyped because we just beat we beat a bad team, but like we didn't just beat a bad team, we destroyed a bad team, and that's what good teams do to bad teams.
and
Exactly.
I think it's sort of like a situation where it's like with Jalen Hurts, I feel like they almost don't want to rush him because or blitz him because like, hey, we have such a good line. But then I know everybody on our team's like not super proven, but we do kind of have like playmakers at any position. Like he could run the ball, he could like throw a screen off to Sanders, he could hit one of our tight ends or one of our receivers. Like everybody's good at least on our team. He has so many options. So I think maybe they were thinking that like we'll show blitz, but then we'll sort of like rely on the fact that
Yeah.
maybe he's not that good of a passer and make him pick us
Yeah.
apart. And I
Right.
think it's good that he showed that like he could do that.
I don't think
Regardless.
I don't think the Falcons expected Jalen to be that ready to play.
That's a great point, Jackson. Where the Falcons defense is thinking, all right, he can't make the pass. He's a 52% completion guy, so we're just going to show the blitz and make him struggle that way. Where they probably should have changed it up to send the house and just mix him up that way, just kind of throw him off his game that way. But you can't throw just 3 or 4 defensive guys against Mailata, Lane Johnson, and Kelsey. Like clearly that didn't work. But also just showing the fake blitz didn't work against Hurts either.
Oh yeah, no, because our offensive line is outstanding. We might have 4 All Pros on our offensive line this year.
Yeah,
Our offensive
no, it's
line, when healthy, is kind
Yeah,
of
they were
nuts.
looking
the way
great.
they looked yesterday. You can definitely count on that. So let's turn to the rushing then. So Miles Sanders, 15 carries, 74 yards. Jalen doing his normal thing. Kenny Gainwell. So we don't see any Boston Scott. So I'm okay with it because you still have Gainwell going for 40 yards on 10 touches with his first touchdown of his NFL career. And he looked pretty good. I mean, he had one play on a 4th down play that was probably his worst play, and he just didn't
I
execute
don't think he was
as
ready for
much as
that
he should
ball.
have. It was kind of a lousy handoff.
I think it was an option, and I don't think he expected to get the ball.
But
Yeah.
But either way, he looked good as a secondary guy, and if you got Boston behind him, you feel pretty good about your running back depth right now.
I feel great about it, and I mean,
Yeah,
like you said,
definitely.
like not seeing Boston Scott is like, like you kind of want to see him because he's been such a nice piece the last couple of years. But
Yeah.
I mean, if we got a guy who's better, like I'm all in on Kenny Gainwell.
Yeah, not seeing Boston
And
Scott is like
here's
not seeing Greg Ward. It's
Yeah,
like
exactly. It's kind of like that.
It's like it kind of shows how good your team is, right? Yeah, we talked about this before. Like if Greg Ward
Also,
is like
maybe
a
shows
starting
how low
guy,
our standards have gotten.
Well,
Yeah.
it's like you hate to see it, but at the same time you love to see it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you want to see Boston Scott because we kind of fell in love with him the past couple
you
years, but
you like
Doesn't want to see him.
yeah,
you like the
you also like let's get somebody better
yeah.
in here.
You like the guy, you love the team more, so you rather not see him at the end of the day. But and then I guess overall takeaway on the Falcons, maybe you pick up Patterson as a flex at some point. But he looked pretty good. I'm not gonna lie for an
He
old
looked
man.
better than Mike Davis, honestly.
He looked better than Mike Davis, who got more carries and less yards. So at the end of the day, I mean, good stuff by Jalen. I feel confident that I feel like we can go into each week knowing that he can lead our team to good wins.
What round was he picked in our fantasy league? He could be a keeper.
Yeah, maybe
He's
he
like
will
a-
be my maybe he
he's
will
like
be my keeper. So we'll see
Like
about
8th
that.
round or something.
But the big thing with the receivers, right? I think Devontae Smith, he's got 71 yards. I mean, if he's their second receiver on any fantasy team, you can't ask for a really more than 60-point game from him. And then Rieger kind of showing up. Does a Sirianni offense
Dude,
make these guys look that much better compared to a Peterson offense?
Yeah, well, I think what we were seeing is that I think maybe what happened was that Doug Peterson inherited a team that was already coached up and the players were like willing to play and ready to play. I don't think maybe he was as good at teaching people how to play as he was like
Yeah.
organizing people to play together. And I think throughout his tenure, like potentially the players just got like less skilled because they weren't practicing as like the things that they should have been practicing. And maybe with Sirianni coming in competition, you got to earn your spot, like actually being somebody who like teaches the fundamentals. I think,
kind of came up with the guys instead of like
yeah,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
especially with his expertise being a wide receiver, I think Rieger and Smith are going to have like much better years than they would have had with Peterson.
By the way,
Yeah.
Devontae Smith six catches in NFL debut tied a franchise record.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
For
So-
the
Nice.
Eagles.
He looked
Is that-
good. He didn't look like a rookie first gamer, you know?
No, not at all.
Yeah, no.
I mean,
I saw that
he looks great.
Jamar Chase had a touchdown as well, a pretty big bomb.
Yeah, he looks
Joe
really good.
Burrows,
He-
but I don't
he
know
looked-
how
he
any of
looked
the
good.
other
And so did
Yeah.
Waddle. Waddle had a
wide
touchdown
receivers
too.
did.
I think
He's
actually
seeing the ball well.
every single player or wide receiver picked in the
Rookie.
top 10. Yeah, picking the top 10 this year besides Kyle Pitts, who is the number 1 drafted receiver. Well, I mean he's a tight end, but he's a receiver.
He's a receiver.
Got a touchdown this week.
Yeah, all three of them did really good.
So it's just like it's honestly unbelievable. Like you think about that, nobody predicted this. Nobody predicted
No.
this.
No.
Uh,
Usually I think
Yeah,
I'm
I
pretty sure wide
thought-
receivers are like the toughest rookies to actually go off, you know.
Right. This draft class, as far as rookie receivers, is much better compared to last year. I feel like it was just Justin Jefferson who
I
kind of
think
went
for-
off.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think everybody was like super optimistic about Devontae Smith, but like the jury was still out because we didn't know like whether or not he was too small for the NFL. Everybody was like saying like
Too
one biggest
small.
knock is he too small? Clearly after this game, he's not too small.
He's not too small.
I mean,
No.
he did go. We pumped the brakes a little bit because he did go against the bad Dallas or Falcons secondary, but he looked amazing for his first game.
You can't
Yeah, again, he looked
you can't ask
comfortable.
for
He
more.
was-
Especially
He was
compared to all,
quoted after the
all
game
the wide
was saying
receivers.
that it was slower than Alabama.
Right.
That's
College ball.
crazy. But like,
Yeah.
Maybe Falcons are that bad though.
No. So he was he's speaking to just the nature of the game. I think with college, where it's just like all hurry up offense, just kind of like go, and it's like you also
Yeah.
put up like
Yeah.
60 points a game. So I think he's just speaking to the nature of the game a little bit. But either way, he's still faster than all of the Falcons defense at this point.
and I just
So-
think it's nice that I feel like we've become accustomed to like drafting wide receiver in the first round and then being like, he's gonna be okay. Like convincing ourselves he's gonna be good, but like he actually did look good.
Well, I mean, we finally got
Yeah.
a guy who's like a freaking superstar. He was the Heisman winner. Like like we don't get those guys a lot.
We got our guy.
It just feels good to like just be one of those teams, to have an Eagles player that's good at fantasy, to have a couple, 2-3 Eagles players that are decent at fantasy. Like doesn't feel like normal to us. But look at just look at the spread here, guys. So like, I mean, just how many different guys Jalen is throwing to throughout the game between the receivers, the tight ends. and the running backs, and you got Quez in there, leading that first drive on those bubble screens. So it's
I like
just
that first drive so much.
the spread and how
A few
how
more
many
of that.
different people got the ball, and how many different receptions to each guy. He's making reads. He's not just going to one guy. It's not a Carson only comfortable with Ertz situation. It's he finds the open guy and goes there, and he trusts his guys too. He lets them make the play. He'll take the safe throw if he needs it, but he'll go to a Dallas Goedert, thrown at his toes if he has to catch it there.
I mean, dude,
So.
like I said, or like you were talking about earlier, it's just nice to see like our like starters just be real starters, be efficient players again. And like the last couple of years, it's just been like we don't even know what we're gonna get out of our starters. Like nobody might not even have more than 5 catches this week. Like it's good to see.
It's nice to not have to hear that we have practice squad wide receivers and not a single starter polling quarterback for a year.
Yeah.
It's nice to also like be confident finally again when we like line up for a third down that there's like a good chance we're gonna like actually make it,
Right.
Whereas
I mean, how many
like the
did we have
last
any?
2
Yeah.
seasons we seriously had like no third down offense.
I can't remember, but did we have any 3 and outs?
We did 3 and outs. I don't know. That's a good question.
I don't know if we
And
had
there
any
was that
3 and
one where it
outs.
was like a long third down and we threw like the check down for like I think we got like 1 yard on it or something.
I know, but was that a 3 and out though?
They might have had a 3 and out.
We might have gotten a first down on that.
I can't recall.
Might have had a 3 and out when we were playing football.
If-
Jackson and Brits threw 2 fumbles, and Welker got beat up by a bush. So we might have missed it.
Hey man,
Yeah, I did miss the start of the second half. But
You guys are playing football at halftime?
yeah.
With our beer bellies about to throw up our wings. Yes, we did. But no, just bringing it back. I mean, compare it. So guys like Ridley getting 51, Pitts in his debut 31, compared to Hurst also like basically having the same amount of yards.
you love to see Ridley getting held to 50 yards.
You just love to see the difference across the board here. It's just the score shows it, but this shows it too. So you love to see it. But let's get into team grades, right? So honestly, if we're going across the board, I would say this.
A on everything, right?
I mean,
But
like
but I'll leave it open to you guys.
did that say 17-0? I love it.
It did say that. It did indeed say that. What do you guys got on the offense? Anything other than A plus?
I feel like you got to go A plus all across the board, right? Am I speaking for everybody here when I say that?
I'd say offense. Yeah, I mean it's an A+ game. They get 32 points. Like that's a lot of points. That's like
Yeah,
not
you
what we
summed it
put up.
up,
We don't.
Brits.
I don't think we put up 32 points all the year last year.
If you put up
good
32
teams
points
beat
every
bad
game,
teams badly.
Exactly.
So one thing I did want to bring up too, when it was I think 22-6 or 22-15. Yeah, I personally felt a moment where it was like the last couple seasons where it's like, shit, is this where we choked the game? Because we had so many of those, and that's what.
Yeah, up until the third quarter still.
And how this game ended just proved to me this team's different. Jalen's different. It's not the same anymore.
We've been so conditioned to be like up by a touchdown or 10 points or even 2 touchdowns and just still not feel like we're going to win the game. And now like it's like it just felt like it was such a different experience watching this game this week. Like
fun.
It
fun to
was
watch.
fun. Guys were making plays, and also like when we got that what was it 16-point lead? I was thinking like in the back of my head I'm like thinking of years past. I'm like, all right, this game's not over yet. We still got to close it out.
Yeah.
But in reality, we never lost control of the game, and like it just felt so different.
Felt good.
You guys will be happy to hear that the bar was full of Eagles fans this week.
I love that.
It was fantastic. Yeah. Devontae Smith caught the touchdown. The place went up.
Oh, so did my living room.
Yeah.
No, for real. No, but I would have to say A plus. I mean, to go 32, and on your on the road in the Falcons turf, I mean, you got to give an A plus there. I mean, how many times has I'm going to pose this question to you guys too. How many times has 10 yards felt like a lot of yards to Carson Wentz? But to Jalen Hurts, it feels like this could be an 8-yard play just running it if it doesn't work out on a pass. And it'll probably turn it into at least a 2nd and 5.
The field seems shorter now, dude.
Seems shorter.
It's like for Carson Wentz, you go out and you have a first down. and 10, and it's like, okay, well, let's just count on like a pass interference penalty so we can get a first down or something. We're not going to throw for one. And it's like with Jalen
You know
Hurts,
we're
you're
not going
going
to
out
run
and it's
either.
like, yeah, he's like either Jalen's going to run for it or he's going to get like some sort of positive completion. He's not just going to get sacked for like a fumble or something.
Yeah.
I feel like the offense, it's like if you put up 32 points every week, you're going to make the playoffs, so that's got to be an A plus. And the defense, it's like if you don't let the other team get on your side of the 50 for the last 3 quarters of the game, you're going to win most of the
Well,
games.
yeah, I wanted to talk about the defense because I almost wanted to give an A to the offense just so I could give the defense an A plus because
Fair.
the defense the Dallas or I keep calling them Dallas Falcons defense is horrible. So it's like the offense like should have did what they did, but the Falcons offense is pretty good, like pretty strong. They have a couple great guys on that team. Matt Ryan is no schmuck either. I mean, he had a horrible game, but like he's obviously one of the better quarterbacks in the last 10 years. And
There's like a reason we projected loses their offense.
yeah, exactly. And the defense showed up big time, especially in that fourth quarter when they were getting all that pressure.
Holding any team to 6 points in the NFL is a big thing to do, and I don't care who you are. If you're the Jets, you get some kind of garbage points. That's a touchdown, at the end of the game. So like that's why I would agree with Brits. If I were to like be hard on this team, then it would be A for the offense, A plus for the defense. There was one thing, and tell me guys if you guys didn't like any calls from Sirianni or maybe mistakes that that you found in this perfect game. There was one thing when they were up 15-6 when he went for the 4th and 2. I understand the dog mentality. Put your foot on their necks and just turn
Was
it
it
up.
4th and 2? I thought it was like 4th and longer than that.
It might have been 4th and long.
I think it was like 4th and 6 or something like that.
It might have been longer.
More than 1 fourth down.
I like the points. I like the points there. I don't want him to. Either way. I feel like Sirianni knows what play to call, whereas Doug has no idea what. If say a flag happens and we gotta set up again and run the play again. He doesn't know what to call. But
Didn't we
I
throw
feel
a
like
screen there though, which I don't like because I'm pretty sure that's what Doug used to always do.
yeah we threw something that didn't make much sense. But
what happened was we had 2 fourth downs. The one was the play where we ran into Kenny Gainwell and Gainwell got stuck in the middle, which is what
I think
that was the 4th and 2.
Yeah, that was
later in the
4th and
game
2.
we had a long 4th down where Jalen like buzzed it up the middle and got the first down.
Oh,
He didn't get the first down. We didn't get. Did we get any of the first downs on the 4th?
I thought we were 1 for 2 on 4th down. I could be wrong though.
I don't know.
Maybe I'm thinking of a 3rd down play because I know there's one play where it was like 3rd and 6 or 4th and 6, and we threw a screen and nobody was blocking, and I was like, that just looked like last year. But that was the only real play that I was like pretty upset about on the offensive side.
Yeah, and I mean that's probably the one thing that I nitpick. Honestly, everything else is pretty good. I say take the points where you can in that scenario when you're up by that much, but A for the offense, A plus for the defense. The one thing I will say about the special teams, I wanted to give them a shout out because 4 punts, 3 inside the 20 for Aaron Sipas, the guy from Australia.
I love that.
We were kind of killing on special teams, honestly.
Two or three guys from Australia that know what they're doing in Philly. But
who was our punter last year?
Dude, because Matisse is from Australia.
Matisse. Sorry.
3 or 4.
3 or 4. But also just no penalties from special teams. So I feel like things just went right where those are little things that make a difference. Like if you can pin Matt Ryan within the 20 and have him struggle at that point, that in that place in the field, then you're getting a quick 3 and out from the Falcons. Then you're getting the ball back in Jalen's hands to score. So
yeah,
love what you see there. So all right, A pluses.
Season
predictions. Let's revisit a little bit. So I got my name. I got my icon plopped on the above side of these predictions. So if they get the yard, so in Jalen's case, if he gets the yardage, I would put him in the above category. But we can kind of run through the list real quick. Like I said, I'm pretty up on all of these things. These are all things that we talked about earlier in the season, preseason training camp time period. But I really think the Eagles are, I'm not gonna jump to 10-6 or sorry, 10-7 now, 11 and 6 at this point. But I'll still say 9-8 and feel pretty confident about the Eagles winning the division just after watching this weekend of football.
Well, I was 7-10.
You were in the below. You were in the below bucket.
I was 7-10. I think my guess was 7 wins.
Where are we dropping Brits here?
So I gotta go up on that now. I mean, I know it's only week 1,
Going up.
but I gotta
Oh
go
my
up on
God.
that. I mean, it's gotta be at least. You gotta think that we're going at least to 9 or 10 wins now.
Jackson, what are you doing over there?
Because
What do you mean?
I'm pretty sure I projected a loss against the Falcons.
I was looking at our schedule.
You got some sci-fi noises coming out of your screen, dude.
Oh no.
Unbelievable.
That's all good.
So while he's looking at things,
Fix it in
Flay,
post. Maybe I won't.
Flay, are you a middle of the ground guy? Are you sitting above, below?
I'm still on the 9-10 train.
He's still
Like
there.
the win train. I think you guys, if you guys are gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. All right. I'm going 13-4.
He said,
13-4.
That can't be a real.
I looked at our schedule, and I think there's 4 games we lose. I think clearly after this week, we can say we're going to win both of the Washington football games. I think we're going to win both of the Giants games, and we're probably going to win one of the Cowboys games. We're going to go probably 5-6 in the division. I think we're probably going to lose against the Patriots. We're probably not the Patriots, but we're probably going to lose against Tampa Bay. Probably going to lose against the Chiefs. I could see us losing against the Saints, and then maybe the one of the Dallas games. And I'm saying 13-4.
Listen, next week is a huge game. We play San Francisco.
Does
That's
Jackson?
Gonna be telling.
So does Jackson lose his credibility going from like 6-11 to now like 13-14?
I was 9-7 before I went up.
Jackson was 9 wins, and me and Flay were 7 wins.
Okay. Either way, that's a huge jump after one game.
I do agree with Jackson. I think there's only like 3 games on the schedule when I look at it that are like there's no chance that we have a winning. But every other game, I think we definitely have a competitive chance.
Brits is right here. I think we go into next week as a prove it game. Like the 2017 prove it game where the Eagles were going on an undefeated run was Carolina to me. They went 5-0 and they beat Carolina at home. This is the prove it game. If you can beat the Niners, then I would say if you beat the Niners really any score, I can say that this might be pretty real for a good run here.
We got the Niners at home. We can win that game.
Squeak another one off against Brady this year.
If you could steal this game, it's pretty good going 2-0 after playing these two teams.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I want to double down. I want to say not only are we going to go 13-4, I think we're at the start of a historic Eagles run. I feel like we have. I feel like we have a rookie QB. We have 3 first-round draft picks next year. We're going to be able to cut a bunch of veterans. And it's like whenever you look at like a team that goes on a huge run, it's like they have a rookie QB. They have a good defense and they have like a decent offense, and they're not like because like once you get your QB on an extension, you have to pay him and you have to like subtract other good pieces that you have.
Yeah. We're also in a $50 million dead cap right now.
Yeah, but like next year that's not going to be the case. We're going to add 3 first round picks, and we still have him on a rookie contract. I feel like we could be like like setting up for something big.
I will say, hold on, one real quick. If we were to go above 500 this year with $50 million in dead cap, that would be historic.
We're going 13-4, dude.
And listen, the future is bright with a potential 3 first-round picks. Even though Wentz, sucks, he'll still play. So, it looks bright for the Eagles right now. I'm still in the place where Jalen has to prove it. I don't think just one game proves it to me, but I have a lot of confidence in him. I like the guy, but I think he still needs to prove it.
It's Overreaction Monday.
We just got to overreact.
Shout out to Pat McAfee. Overreaction.
I feel like to be a starter in the NFL, you just have to be good in some way. You know what I mean? He clearly is good.
Well, we said top 10. We said top 10 of a guy that we want to keep around.
He looked Dak Prescott level at least. That's all I'm saying.
Yesterday he looked top 5. So
I saw, according to PFF, I think they gave him like an 87. That was second best in the league. Number 1 was Brady at 92. So like they had him rated as the second best QB in the league this week.
You'd love to say it.
That's everybody playing. That's number 2, not number 40 something.
Yeah, not top 40.
Not number 40.
Sims, dude.
And Chris Sims went back. Chris Sims went back on his own show and said he took it back. He said Jalen Hurts is a leader of men and he's one of the best QBs.
Oh my God, let's go!
I'm pretty sure.
So in his original in his original above 40 ranking, he said, and I quote, "If Jalen proves to be a good quarterback, I will say, God, I'm a freaking idiot. Jalen, you're the man." So he needs to go back and say that after this week. All right, so are we all in the win the division camp here?
That's gonna be tough,
After,
but I mean, if I'm rooting 13-4, I'm gonna say yeah.
I mean,
Well, yeah.
Washington just lost Ryan Fitzpatrick, so yeah, I'm definitely in that. I don't think. I think I agree with you, Jackson. I think we're gonna split a Cowboys series and pretty much win out with the other two.
Because it's like it seemed like before this season started that everybody was saying that the Cowboys were going to be good. They do look good. They were also saying that the football team was going to be good and the Giants were going to look good, and they both look like dumpster fires.
They look
Yeah.
like ass.
Yeah. Yeah, they look like their good old selves. Jalen, 4,000 passing yards. He had 264 yesterday. He averaged 265 in his 4 games last season in 2020. So he's projected to be 4,500 yards if he plays all 17 games and has a 265-yard average. Do you take the over? Do you take the under?
But real quick to reiterate, you guys both also think we're going to win the division.
I do. No,
Yeah.
I think just even at a 9-8 record, I think you could still take this. I mean, if you're looking at the Giants and now the Redskins, they got nothing to them, and then you're really just battling the Cowboys at this point, which, I think they could be good, but at the same time, their defense is just riddled with guys that can't cover. I mean, you got a good linebacking core. That's about it.
I'm going to go under for 4,000 pass yards, and I think it's going to be like just under. Like you're talking like 3,700.
I do think it's going to be over. I feel like just the addition of the extra game is going to really help him get to that 4,000 mark. But I feel like he's easily going to hit like probably around 250 at least, like each game, which should be enough to get him there, right?
Yeah, that'll get him there, and I see him having like 300-yard games, so that's why I go with the over on this one.
I think we'll have a couple of run-heavy games.
I mean, that's possible too. All-purpose yards will definitely get over the 4,500.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Because I'm also going to say he's probably going to get over 1,000 rushing yards.
Yeah, I would say he at least hits it, honestly.
What are like some all-purpose yards records? I mean, he didn't have like a crazy amount of rushing yards.
But I mean, he had didn't he have about 70 for this game?
Yeah, 70.
So he had 60. So
on 7 attempts.
So let's go to Sanders then. So he had about 70 on the day. That's about projected to be 1,200 yards on the season if he plays all 17 games. We know he's injury prone, but do you take the 1,000-yard mark or over for Sanders?
I'm gonna stick with under.
I'm going under again because I don't think that he's going to play every game. I think we're going to have a couple of Gainwell Scott games. I think we're going to have a couple of Scott Sanders games. I think it's going to be a switch up depending on the matchup.
I really do think that Sanders is going to get over 1,000 yards this year. I think that just because I believe in our offensive line this year, I think we're going to get lucky and they're not going to get hurt. I think maybe I shouldn't have said that because I jinxed us, but whatever. I don't know. I just like what I saw yesterday. I felt like that like Sirianni was calling offensive plays in a way that like leaned more heavily on the run than Peterson had, and I think that he didn't give the ball to Gainwell as much as I thought. Like I think Sanders had more of a control in the backfield than I thought he was going to, and I think he definitely probably if he's healthy the whole year, he's going to get over 1,000.
I think the only way he doesn't is to Britt's and Flay's point of just how they split the carries between Gainwell, Jalen probably taking up a lot of that yardage, and then also if Boston Scott does come in. But other than that, I think he's gonna stay healthy, and I think if he's healthy all 17 games, he's definitely getting 1,000. He might just hit it like 1,007 yards, but he'll hit it.
I think he's gonna be close, but he's gonna be under. But I think he's definitely gonna have way over 1,000 yards from scrimmage.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
I just think you have to keep in mind that there is the extra game, so it will be easier to hit 1,000 yards.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm saying I think he's gonna have a lot of passing yards, and that's gonna be that's gonna be his star thing to the team is like how good he can catch the ball.
Well, let's hope.
I think that'll be Gainwell's bigger feature overall.
I also agree. I think Gainwell's
I mean, Sanders
I don't think he's gonna have more than Miles Sanders though. Miles Sanders has
I would like to see them
do it.
I mean, if Miles improves his pass catching, then that's great. I'm not gonna be mad at that.
Either way, those screen plays to Sanders are gonna make for good yards.
He had 40 yards this week. That's a lot for running back.
Yeah, I'll take the all-purpose yards. All right, Devontae Smith on 1,000 receiving yards. I'm not alone on this. The legend Ray Diddy said this might be possible for a
He
rookie.
loves him.
How do you
So big
not
on him.
ride with R Diddy? But yeah, 1,000 yards for Smith. 70 today. Again, projected would be about 1,200 if he plays every game.
I'm gonna have to
I'm gonna
go with. I
go
don't know
over.
I don't know what I said before, but I think we have to go with over.
Okay. Over for Britzy.
What do you think,
Over
Glenn?
for me too.
Over for Flay. Just one
I
man on
think
the board left.
I think it's tough for wide receivers, because like depending
Oh,
on the
here we
day, they
go.
might not even get a catch. It's just whoever's hot that day. We might have a Quez Watkins game. JJ Arthega-Whiteside. Who knows? Maybe he'll have a big game. I think though that it would be realistic to like expect like 70 yards. I don't think this was a crazy game. I think he's gonna have better games than he had last week. So
Yeah.
add me to the boys. I'll go over 1,000.
All right. Because you gotta think his low games are going to be like 50 yards, I think, and then his higher games are going to be like maybe
He's
130,
the clear number one, so it's like
and he's a clear number one.
He
So
could have a 250 3-touchdown game.
you never know.
I think
Two-fifty.
Sirianni definitely we saw does a good job of doing some creative wide receiver routes. Cause some confusion in the backfield, and Smith's hopefully gonna be on the better end of a couple more like bombs from Jalen. Not just like the 18-yard touchdown dump, but a couple of 30+ yard ones.
you want to see a lot of Watkins ones too. I see a
Oh
lot of
yeah,
those in the future. All right, this one
I'm
I was
always for
actually
Watkins bomb.
pretty iffy about, just because the Eagles always seem like a team like, oh, they're about to get an interception and they just lose it, and that's what
Yeah.
happened a lot this past Sunday. So 19 interceptions in 2017, 9 interceptions last year. I put it right at the middle, 14 interceptions between the two. So do above or below for that. I'm saying yes because I have faith that you still got Harris, Nelson, and Slay in there. So how could this not be at least 14 interceptions?
Well, and you have to take into account we didn't even have our like full healthy defense. McLeod's not back yet.
And he's not there yet.
I gotta go under on this. I don't think
I'm
And I
going
think
under as
I
well.
don't think we're gonna get 14
it's
interceptions, but I think our defense is our secondary is gonna play way better this year either way. Um, but I don't see our team being that kind of like crazy takeaway defense in the secondary.
I think that's fair. I do think though that like we're gonna have 1 or 2 games with 2 picks, and I think we're gonna have a pick in more games than we think we would. Like if our defensive line is playing that well and we have our full healthy, like if our defensive backs are in, I think that we could easily get 14 interceptions. I'm going. Sign me up. Put me over there with you.
yeah.
I think like maybe 15, 14, right around there.
I think me and Jackson are just together on everything for this. But
It's down
yeah,
the
just
line.
remember we got 6 games against Taylor Heineke, guys like that, Daniel Jones, and Dak Prescott, who we know is good but throws picks at the same time. So I
I
think
think
back to that, and I think that's what's promising to me.
Also, like Jameis Winston, he gets a lot of yards, but he's throwing a lot of picks. We're playing him too.
We'll throw 5 to us that day. So
Can happen.
I feel like
Let's hope.
if anything we're gonna have a lot of forced fumbles I think this year. That's what I'm thinking.
okay, so you go the other route.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just think that
Sack quarterback humble.
Yeah.
for me, it feels like in years past, like I think what happened with the 2017 year was that we were getting pressure, but then we also had like good coverage in like our defensive backs were covering well. I don't think that had happened in years past, and I think that this year again we've got good defensive backs, we got a good defensive line, and I think it could just like mesh in the way that we're hoping.
Yeah.
Am I hearing Jackson also say shade 2017?
I am. I said 13-4, dude.
That mentality it seems like that kind of mentality honestly, but we'll see.
I mean,
Yeah, I like the mentality. It's got to grow a little bit more. It's got to keep going.
Gotta win against San Fran. I'm telling you, it's a huge game.
It's huge. It's a big prove it game. So let's go with the final one. Josh Sweat gets the start over Barnett yesterday, and we didn't. And also just to mention, didn't really see Kerrigan out there, so I don't know if he's still hurt or just not getting a lot of rotation time. I didn't notice him in the game, but Josh Sweat starting for the Eagles yesterday had 6.5 sacks last year. Does he get the 7 on this year?
7 sacks is a lot.
A lot. It's a
yeah,
lot.
I'm going to go below on that. I think we have a lot of hungry dogs. I think we're going to get a lot of sacks as a team, but I think it's going to be spread a lot.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with yeah. I think he does have a big sack year.
Okay. All right.
I think that
I think if there's a guy on our
Clay
team right
said,
now that's gonna do it, it's gonna be either him or it's gonna be I don't know. There's actually a lot of guys that I can get a lot of sacks this year, so I don't know.
I think that, like Clay said, it would be ideal if the rest of the team sort of all
Yeah.
get sacks. It's
Right.
spread around, because then in the offseason we don't really have to pay Josh Sweat as much as we would have to.
Okay.
Because we want to keep him, we don't want to pay him that much this offseason.
Feeling
However,
selfish.
I do think he probably could be our best defensive end on the team right now. So I am going to say yes. I want to just go straight down the board. Yeses all the way. I'm saying
Yeah,
he's going to
you're all in. I mean, you're also saying we're going 13-4, so obviously you got to say yes to all
mark
of
it down.
this.
Yeah.
I should be
I mean,
17-0.
So
Yes,
Jackson, if you
to
think it's a
all.
13-4, do you think it's a Super Bowl year?
It has
I
to
think
be.
we're going to go deep this year. I think
Season.
like I was saying earlier, I think our Super Bowl years are the next 2 or 3 years. I don't know if this is one yet, but I think we're going to have a deep playoff push.
So
I think we're going to
we're
make it
going
past the first round.
So we're going to the. You're saying we're going to the NFC Championship game. We're gonna lose to the Packers.
Right now.
I'm not willing to say that yet. I'm saying I think we're
Bucks.
making it past the first round of the playoffs.
Lose to the Packers. Did you see him play yesterday? Give me a break.
Yeah, sure, that was bad.
So
The
Flay's
sentiment on Instagram seems to be a
Flay's
Super
sleeping the
Bowl or
most.
bust too. So
Flay's sleeping on him. So he's got his nightcap on. So
Perfect.
yeah, he's the most he's the biggest doubter of us all, clearly on the list. But the thing with Josh Sweat,
I mean, I'm ready for a successful season.
the
Don't get me wrong.
thing with Josh Sweat is I feel like he's going to have one game where he has 3 sacks. I think we're thinking it's tough now because he won a game with no sacks and we didn't hear his name called that much, but I feel like he's going to have one game where it's 3 sacks and then we're holy shit, he's going to get fucking 12 on the season. So
Did you see?
we're just going to wait for that game.
Who's the guy on the Cardinals? Had 5 yesterday. What the hell's his name?
Oh my god.
It's Chandler Jones. Is that it?
Yeah, I think it was. Was it Chandler Jones?
That makes
I don't know. I
sense.
just know he's on the Cardinals, I think.
It might have been Chandler Jones. I'm gonna look it up. But he had
Yeah,
5
good.
sacks yesterday.
It's a good guess.
I'll give you guys one over under off the top. Jalen Hurts
right.
over under 20 passing touchdowns.
Oh,
I'll take the over.
Over,
I'll take the over on that. Got 3 yesterday.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take the over. But yeah, no, let's with that, boys, let's bring it to a close. So good episode 15. We love to kick off the week with a whole NFC division losing out and the Eagles getting a win. So so Jalen's lifting up the board today and he's lifting up our hearts and lifting Jackson's record prediction up to 13-4. So with that, we've landed, and that's our guy, Jalen Hurts, for the win, 17-0. We'll catch you next time. Look out for a potential pregame. If not, we might be too busy with our work schedules, but stay tuned on that. And then let's see if we can get this prove-it game against the Niners. This is a big deal, boys. So let's get the first one at home. Let's go. I'll see you at the link. I'll see you at the tailgate. Let's play a little flip cup. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Bleed green. Let's get it.
Let's go, boys.
Go Birds.
See you next week. Go Birds.
See you next time.
Swipe up to subscribe.
Hit the bell. Say some comments. Do some things. See you.